Well, down on the grid now with the Honda Racing boss, Steve Neal. And as I mentioned earlier on, few problems for Gordon Shedden. Just talk us through it, Steve. What's been going on?
Well, the regulations limit the amount of boost that you can run in these cars to 800 millibars over atmosphere, which is 1.8 bar. And due to a technical problem, we hit 1.88 of a bar for about 0.2 of a second. And unfortunately, that infringes the regulations, and the only punishment for that is exclusion from the results. So that's a matter of statement of fact, and you have to take it on the chin. And
the upshot of that means that Gordon is going to be starting the race from the back of the grid, right?
Yep, right alongside Jason somewhere, I guess.
I mean, how do you feel about that?
Well, sad for Gordon, really, that it's a technical issue, so it's a team responsibility, not his fault. And we have to take it as well, don't we?
OK, well, thanks for updating us on that. And I think Simon's down here on the grid as well. I believe he's with Tom Chilton, so let's go over and join him.
Tom's a bit of controversy already today with the situation with Gordon Shedden. How have you seen that unfolding?
Yeah, all I've been told is that he was over boosting. I mean, there's a set of regulations, and we've all got to stick to them, unfortunately. Otherwise, I'd have a 4-litre V8 in as my choice, because I quite like the noise of it, and it being very quick down the straight. But yeah, we all have a set of rules, and we have to stick to it. And yeah, if they didn't comply, then yeah, you have to get put to the back, which is unfortunate for Gordon, because he'd had a mare at Brands Hatch because he crashed in pre-practice, and he's had a bit of a mare here because he's been put to the back. So it's a bit unfortunate for him, but that's racing.
Now, talking about your car, how did it work in the first race? What have you got, do you think, in this car for this one?
I thought the car wasn't too bad. You know, we held 5th place fine. I thought I had quite a quick car to start off with. My tyres went off a bit at the end of the race due to a bit of damage on the front when me and Jackson collided at the first corner. And I'm hoping that's what made my tyres go off in the first race. But, you know, this is going to be our first proper race really in this heat, where we can really see what the car's doing with its setup, because all through testing I tested in England in the cold, and this is a brand new car. So this is almost a bit of a test session for me, to be honest. So I'm going to see how it goes. I don't know. Hopefully it's good.
We look forward to watching with interest. Have a good race, Tom. Now, of course, the car that Tom was driving last year would have been another Ford Focus, and that, of course, would have been now he's being driven by Matt Jackson. Matt, a tough start to your weekend yesterday in qualifying, but looking a bit more promising in that first race.
Yeah, qualifying was unfortunate. You know, it's we were lucky that there was a few incidents that enabled us to get hold the position that we'd done. Race 1 was a bit unfortunate with contact from the other Ford of Tom Chilton. So that was a bit unfortunate. It made the car, the geometry was all bent from the first lap incident, so it was really damage limitations.
Now, a lot of the other drivers that are driving turbo cars are talking about the issues with brakes, in terms of, because there's less engine braking than normal, it can go away later in the race. Has that been an issue for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's the turbo engine works the tyre a lot harder. It's something we've got to deal with. We're not moaning about it. We've just got to get on with what we've got. And a lot of it comes down to a driver technique. You just have to be a little bit more patient with the turbo.
And obviously you've had a chance to drive lots of different touring cars over the years. You've gone from one extreme to another, really, from last year's car to this one. How are you finding it driving wise compared to last year's car?
It's mega. We made the change from BMW to the Airwaves Racing Focus, and I think it certainly is the right move for us. We've done a lot of work on the chassis. The Ford chassis is a tremendous chassis anyway as a base. We've got mount tune engines which are awesome. And the whole package together with all the boys from Airwaves, it seems to be working so far so good.
Well, I've had a few people tip you for some podiums this week and in the last couple of races. We'll look with interest.
Let's hope so.
Thanks, Matt. Now, another driver that's always popular in another car that was last year being driven by somebody else, of course, is the Tech Speed Chevrolet. And that, of course, is the Cruise that won the championship with Jason Plato on board. We're getting a chance to have a very, very quick word with Paul O'Neill to see exactly how it went. Paul, looked like you had a decent race in the first one. How's it looking for this one?
Yeah, we're hoping for better things. Struggling across the curbs in this particular Chevrolet. We've just not got the World Touring Car dampers that the other boys have got. Just letting them ride the curbs better, and that's the only struggle I had really. But my races against the normally aspirated cars, I've got no chance against the turbo nutters.
Now, you said to me earlier that one of the things that really pleased you after the last race was the boys from RML saying that you were doing the times that this car was doing with Jason on board. So is that your real target?
Yeah, it is. You know, you always think you can go quicker than something's gone before. That's what pushes me on, and we should really be a couple of tenths quicker than we are, because the dashboard never lies and it tells me how we're getting on. So, but I'm so pleased. But Tech Speed and Go Mobile and Sunshine.co.uk have been fantastic, but RML are just fantastic to work with. What a great bunch of professionals.
Looks like you're enjoying it, Paul. Have a good race, mate. Now we've got a chance to go and speak to our commentators who are going to take through the action for the next race. Of course, that is Tim Harvey and Ben Edwards.
So let's take a look at what we've got lined up on the grid here, Tim. We've got Matt Neal, who's going to be starting from that pole position. He's carrying some 45 kilos of ballast, and this is how the rest of the grid lines up as well. Andrew Jordan will be alongside him in the Vauxhall with 27 kilos. James Nash starting third, where he did for the first race, in fact, had a great start. Tom Chilton fourth, and Matt Jackson fifth, and sixth is Rob Collard. He had a good run in that BMW earlier. Tom Baldwin and Paul O'Neill are seventh and eighth on the grid. Then it's Alex McDowell and Jeff Smith on row 5, 9th and 10th, 11th and 12th, the gold for Tom Onslow Cole and the WSR BMW for Nick Foster. Behind them we've got Liam Griffin in the Airwaves Ford, and then Andy Neaton his Ford, the Team Aon version. Tony Gillam and Frank Raffle, who's had to repair an exhaust manifold for the race. Chris James and Jason Plato back on row 9. Jason had the puncture in race 1, remember. Tony Hughes and John George follow them. John's car having been repaired from a start line accident. Dave Newsham similarly. Then Rob Austin, who had a prop shaft failure on the Audi earlier. And Gordon Shedden, who got excluded from that first race. As we heard, he had an overboost problem. A technical infringement has pushed Gordon Shedden to the back. So that's how they line up for this one, Tim, and Gordon Shedden's got his work cut out.
Well, we're going to have eyes everywhere, aren't we? The front of the grid and the back, with Gordon Shedden and Plato at the back. They're obviously going to make some progress pretty rapidly, but it'd be interesting to watch at the front as well. I mean, Matt Neal has now picked up some success ballast, as has Andrew Jordan. James Nash, interesting, has lost a little bit of ballast, so we'll have to see his progress, and he certainly will have learnt from the first race.
Yeah, absolutely. So James is going to be heading off on this formation lap. Let's just get him to see him away on the formation lap and make sure he gets away cleanly. He had an absolutely brilliant start, didn't he, from that second row, from this spot actually, on the first start.
Yeah, he knows what to do off the line here for sure, because he absolutely rocketed off the line in the first race.
So away they go then on the formation lap to get brakes, tyres up to temperature. Now, we've got our radio communications with a couple of the guys. James is one of them actually. Now, I was lucky enough to drive that car yesterday. Let's have a quick word with James. James, this is Ben in the comm box. You very kindly let me drive your car yesterday, but actually what I wanted to talk to you about was what a brilliant start you made in that first race. Can you do it again?
Well, I don't quite know what I did there, but we had a quick look at the data just to see. It was just a well hooked up start. I'll just try everything again. I'm in the same position. I don't see why it can't, but it's a bit of a lottery sometimes on the starts.
Now presumably you've got to look after the tyres as well, otherwise they go away by the end of the race.
Yeah, we struggled in the first one. We had a slow puncture coming round on the last couple of laps, so just pushed a bit too hard early on and maybe clipped a few curbs, so I'm going to have to watch out this time.
Okay, James, have a good race, and
Thanks,
as I say,
guys.
good to see him putting in some consistent performances. But right at the back of the field, there we are, taking it quite slowly at the moment, is Gordon Shedden. Now, he had to come from the back at Brands Hatch after an accident in free practice in the first race, and he did fight his way through in quite an aggressive way, if you remember, but he forced his way through, gained a lot of places. Let's have a quick word with Gordon now and see how he's feeling about this one. Gordon, it's Ben up in the comm box. Sorry to see you at the back, but you've got a bit of work to do now.
Yeah, not what was planned, but you know, it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about that. So, you know, I've done it before, and I'll try and do it again, get as far up there as I can, and hopefully get something for the reverse grid.
Yeah, second race, second event running. Of course, you had to do this at Brands Hatch in race 1, didn't you?
Yeah, I was kind of hoping for a little bit of an easier time of it this weekend, but it would appear that luck is not on my side at the moment. So let's see if we can change that.
Okay, have a good race. So Gordon Shedden there, just to quickly explain that once again, Tim, the feedback they had from the first race on the data logging, showing a slight overboost even for a fraction of a second, but that is an automatic infringement.
Yeah, I mean obviously boost is very carefully monitored in touring car engines and needs to be on turbocharged cars, and I mean TOCA have been very fair about this. It's a technical infringement. It's a little bit like ride height. If you fail the ride height, even by a fraction, it's a fail. So it doesn't matter how momentary the overboost is, it's a technical injury, and that's why he's out. So the team have accepted it. I'm sure they'll have changed the software. Well, problems in the pits for Boardman and for Frank Rathel, but you know, Gordon will get his head down and he'll progress forward very quickly in this race.
It could be quite fun for us to watch, with both him and Plato coming from towards the back. Tom Boardman, as you say, in trouble. And we saw Frank Rathel. I thought they'd already got that exhaust manifold changed on Rathel's car, but clearly they're still racing against time, so that's a shame. The Audi has pulled into its position towards the back of the field, so let's hope he doesn't have any problems this time around. And Boardman's going to be starting from the pit lane exit, so he'll have to wait until the cars have gone past him, and then he can join at the back. Green flag waves then as we get all set for round 5 of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship. Matt Neal on pole position. Watch James Nash, who was so fast in the first start. It's quite a good start from him, but a good start from Andrew Jordan. Andrew Jordan makes the best start from the outside of the front row, and Matt Neal may lose second. He has. James Nash goes into second. It's Vauxhall 1-2. The Pertec car ahead of the Triple Eight car, then Matt Neal in third place.
Yeah, and a great start by Rob Collard up to 4th. He had an absolutely demon start, got right through the middle of the row in front and up to 4th place already.
That is an excellent getaway for the BMW driver, and he's putting Matt Neal under pressure. Just a clip on, and off, in the background, cars off in big time, through the hall then to Plato. It's Plato, up and over goes Jason Plato, rolling here on the first lap at Donington, and the reigning champion is out in dramatic style. That was a fast accident.
Oh, that was so frightening to watch, because the car went off onto the grass at about 120 miles an hour, and Jason was just a passenger. He couldn't steer it, he couldn't do anything. He's okay, that's great to see, but
everybody.
Well, he's really upset and very unlucky. But don't forget, he had that huge accident at the chicane here last year, and the team rebuilt the car for the last race. So, I mean, it'd be a miraculous achievement, but he could be out for the last race. You never know.
My goodness, what a big shunt that was. Safety car is out. They're all going to have to back off and slow down here as Jason gets out. That's the great thing. I mean, these cars, sitting inside one yesterday as I was, I mean, that cage around you, you feel incredibly safe and secure, and you can see the roll cage in through the rear window. There's his mum and his wife and dad there as well, looking very concerned, but he's fine. That's the good news, and everybody there to check that he's all right. But that cage inside, that steel cage around you, Tim, that's where the strength is. The Audi off as well there.
Yeah, the Audi, Liam Griffin and Matt Neal all off. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, the bodywork looked heavily damaged there, the roof and everything. But you've got to remember the roll cage. You've seen when the drivers are being interviewed on the grid how complex that roll cage is. It's an integral steel space frame in itself, and it would be impossible to crush that, really. So I don't think, however dramatic it looked, I don't think he was really in any danger. We've got an on-board, so we can follow this all the way through from Jason. He makes a good start. That's Liam Griffin in front. He moves to the outside of Liam Griffin and then back across to the inside a little bit. He's up behind Tony Gillam now, nicely in a good position coming out of Redgate, trying to get up the inside. Oh, bit of contact there. Then, now what happens here? What happens here? Because he's in a good position. Oh, there goes the Audi just on his left. He had Liam Griffin and the Audi on his left, and now he's a passenger. Oh, just into that bank. I've never seen a car go off there before, ever.
Nor me. I mean, that's a first one for me to see a car go off like that and hit the grass bank. I mean, it actually hit it at quite a glancing angle, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Just watch at the top of your screen. Oh, actually, Liam Griffin got turned into the front of across the nose of the Audi. It was the bunching. They were all trying to take that line down the craners, and it was 3 into 1 won't go. And Liam Griffin got turned around the front of the Audi and across into the side of Jason, and the contact just there. You see it there. So it's just bunching on that part of the course, and oh look, poor old Jason, he just can see it coming, but he probably doesn't expect the car to roll over like that. Griffin's got his bonnet up, he can't see anything.
Cameraman or photographer there well, trying to get out of the way, but he must have thought he was safe there. He was miles away from anywhere, but a very worrying incident. He wouldn't really have known what was going on to his left. That must have been a real shock to suddenly be on the grass.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen it at the top of the Craner curves on many occasions in the past. I remember an accident with Alan Slight a few years ago in a Vauxhall with a very big accident, but it just happens sometimes when the...
Yeah. We just there is some attention for a marshal there, so there's a little bit of concern that he might have just been clipped by some debris or something. So everybody there obviously keeping an eye on him. The Audi also being picked out of the gravel. So let's hope there are no injuries from that accident. And as we've both said, it's a very unusual place to see a car sort of end up. These guys might be busy, mightn't they, later on if they get that car back?
Well, I mean, the damage looked more extensive than even I thought when I saw the car. The roof is very heavily dented. I mean, Peter Riches, the TOCA chief scrutineer, will have a look at that car and he'll determine very quickly whether it's repairable or not. If there's any damage to the roll cage or break of the roll cage, he won't allow them to fix it. The cosmetic damage they can fix fairly easily, but if there's any damage to that cage, it will be deemed unable to race.
Well, real drama here in race 2 of the day at Donington Park. There's the battered and bruised RML Chevrolet, and the basic, as you say, the basic cockpit has held up well. Rod Underwood, team manager there, they'll be discussing what the next step is, when they can get the car back, how they can look at it and see if there is any possibility of getting it out for the 3rd race of the day. But what an absolute disastrous campaign it's turning into just this weekend at Donington for Jason Plato. Had a brilliant start to the season with 2 victories at Brands Hatch, but a puncture in race 1 and now a dramatic accident. Rob Austin is out of his car, he's fine. That car didn't receive such a big hit. It was slightly involved in the whole incident, but it didn't look as though it got a big hit.
No, it was Griffin sort of turning across the front of him, and of course we've said it before, but a front-wheel drive car with a little bit of contact at the rear, and you're a passenger. But yeah, I should think very little damage to Griffin, to Rob Austin's Audi there, but clearly it's bedded deeply in the gravel, and we're going to be a few laps still under the safety car, I think.
Tom Boardman started from pit lane, of course, so he is at the back of the field. This will help him a little bit. The safety car will bunch them up. Another look at the onboard, and talk us through it again, Tim, because it's a classic sort of starting sequence here.
Yeah, I mean, Jason makes a good start, moves up a couple of positions. He's got momentum into the first corner, so he has no choice but to go around the outside of Griffin. He then gets back to the inside, and he's going to try and tuck it up the inside of the Collins car of Gillam. Now, because of that bunching there, everybody gets a bit closed up here. And on his left, you've got the Audi there the Audi and Liam Griffin's car come together.
I'll tell you what, you know, you get used to the speeds they're doing when they're on the tarmac, don't you? And then when you're on the grass, that's when you realise just how fast they're going.
Yeah, and it's the frightening thing for a driver as well, because suddenly you lose control. It's like when you hit a patch of black ice on the road, or a tiny patch. Even when you're going very slowly, the car just seems to accelerate. And that's Sophie and Jason's mum just consoling each other there. They will have been very pleased to see Jason get out of the car so quickly, and obviously not with any effects of the accident.
Yeah, so let's just confirm where everybody is at the moment following the safety car. It's Andy Jordan who leads. James Nash in the black Vauxhall is 2nd. Matt Neal, who was on pole and made another poor start, is 3rd. Rob Collard is 4th. Tom Chilton is 5th. And then Matt Jackson is 6th. O'Neill is 7th. Onslow Cole runs 8th behind safety car. McDowell is 9th. And Foster is 10th. Now, we saw that Frank Rathel wasn't able to make the start of this race. Simon is with Frank and can tell us what's going on there.
Yeah, Frank, obviously a bit of a dramatic time going on here. The boys working very hard. What exactly seems to be the problem?
We developed an issue halfway through the first race. The exhaust manifold cracked and a couple of other things which actually stopped my progress in that race and robbed us of a brilliant finish. But the boys are working absolutely flat out to get the problem fixed, and hopefully we'll be able to hit the track before the end of the race.
So is this basically going to be a glorified test session and hopefully get the car right for the final race? Is that the plan?
Absolutely. Every time we run the car, it's a test session for us, and we're learning all the time. So just to even get out there and get 3 or 5 laps, we're going to get valuable information, and like you say, which would hopefully put us in good stead for the final race of the day.
I look forward to seeing you out there, Frank. Back to our commentators, to Tim and to Ben.
Thank you very much, Simon. The safety car, I think, is going to be in at this end of this lap. Let's have a quick word with Gordon Shedden. We're just having a little look at his start first of all, Tim. How did it look from his point of view?
Well, he makes a good start as you'd expect and gets a good run down to the first corner, passes several cars. Look in front, there you can see Griffin's car. In front of him you can see Plato there on the right. Now as we follow it, you see Plato gets checked up, Griffin goes round the outside, Shedden is lifting. Now watch this.
Oh, it's Shedden.
Oh, it actually looked like Shedden ran. Did Shedden run into the back of Griffin? It's difficult to. I didn't hear an impact. He may have just been backing off as Griffin lifted off as well, but difficult to tell.
So where are the guys? They are heading around at the moment. Let's just have a quick word with Gordon. Gordon, it's Ben here. No, you're just getting quickly ready for the restart. That was a little bit dramatic on that first lap.
Yeah, all happening in front of me, and I had nowhere to go. Don't know what people are playing at in front, but it was particularly slow halfway down Craners.
Okay, we'll let you get back on with getting ready for the start of the race. It did all seem to check up there.
Yeah, it was bunching, but it's difficult to tell who hit who apart from at the end.
Okay, we're all ready for the restart then, and it's Andrew Jordan who leads as we get the race underway once again. It's Vauxhall versus Vauxhall up front and a Honda in third, and then a BMW and a Ford, and Chilton just clipped the rear bumper of Collard's BMW and has ripped a little bit of it off, and it's all being broken up in front of everybody. Jeff Smith getting involved. There's Andy Neat, who got a couple of penalty points after the first race, but it's Andy Jordan who's made the restart.
Yeah, we thought these two guys, Jordan and Nash, were going to be strong, and they both made excellent starts.
Yeah,
Neil really needs to work on his starts because it's going to compromise his racing, but the two of them are going at it. The tyres will be up to pressure now and bedded in, and they haven't got quite so far to go, so hopefully they'll make it comfortably to the end of the race.
Shedden's making moves. He's got past he's got past Jeff Smith there round the outside, who's being chased by Andy Neat in the Team Aon Ford Focus. So Newsham runs wide. Newsham gets back on the tarmac right with John George there, who's trying to sneak up the inside, but Gordon Shedden gaining yet some more places on this lap, and he might be in. He's just on the back of the top 10 now, I think, although there is a bit of a gap to the next group. So there's the lead group, and there's Matt Jackson. He's just found a way past Tom Chilton, and that's put him up into 5th place. So Matt Jackson charging in the red Airwaves Ford, and now Tom Chilton's under pressure from Paul O'Neill in the first of the purple Chevys, and then the Golf is behind, and then Alex McDowell.
Yeah, a lot of people going well here. Jackson now with the geometry of the car sorted out. Remember, he had that deranged rear suspension in the first race. We'll see just how fast he is. And Onzo Co. Here we're going to see Jackson's move on Tom Chilton.
Yeah, this
gets good drive out of the corner. A little bit of a touch there, eased him wide. Good initial acceleration. It was the initial acceleration and traction that got him off the corner well.
Yeah, that was very effective, and he had it all done by the time they got to the chicane. Jordan leads from Nash in second, then Matt Neal, then Collard, Jackson, Chilton, and then behind him is still Paul O'Neill, and then Tom Onslow Cole in the VW Golf. They'll be well pleased with this. It's running in 8th place and just shows you the sort of progress they're making with that car. And Andrew Jordan and James Nash now, although their tyres won't be as strained as they would have been if this race had run full distance at full speed, still perhaps need to think about it a little bit.
Yeah, they will still be a little careful. I think that certainly some guys, Jackson is going absolutely flat out. He was on the back of Collard on that last lap, but made a small mistake at McLean's and dropped back, but he's instantly got back on the back of Collard again.
On board with James Nash, sitting in 2nd place as Matt Jackson's got past Collard. He's got him, but can Collard can't fight back on the exit of the corner. Collard's got the inside line down into Craners. They're almost rubbing at one of the fastest sections of track, but they just squeeze across in front of each other. That was the area Plato went off earlier. That was well driven by all of them.
Well, if you get a chance to watch that back, just look at the judgment of Matt Jackson. Collard goes off and he's going to drop at least 1 place, maybe 2. But, and gets a wiggle on the back as well.
And O'Neill ended up on the grass there, I think, behind him, didn't he? Because he was trying to give him enough space. So it's dramatic stuff, but they've all still kept going. Jordan from Nash, from Neil. Jackson up to 4th place now ahead of Chilton. And Collard definitely losing out a bit on that lap. Tom Onslow Cole is loving this because he's got the Golf almost on terms with some of these front runners.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job and taking a lot of the inside curve as well, but he needs to get every advantage he can in that little Golf to stay with these.
Jackson's
gone straight on, no!
Matt Matt Jackson goes straight through the chicane. He's going to have to come back out behind Tom Chilton. Well, he hasn't gained anything, so he should be all right. Look at the battle for the lead. Andrew Jordan and James Nash really fighting for the lead.
Yeah, getting very close now. We're into the realms already where tyre wear and setup will have an effect. So these two young guns really going at it.
Yeah, and let's see what's been going on in the meantime. This was the onboard of Matt Jackson as he came down to the chicane. Lock up, lock up, lock up, can't turn in, straight through the gravel.
Can't turn in, he made a very quick decision, didn't he, to sort of straight line it. Oh, was that a roll as well?
I don't think so. I think it's John George.
It's the old hairpin.
It's John George in the second of the two Chevys. No, it is O'Neill, sorry, it is Paul O'Neill. I thought it was number 28 and through the dust, but it's number 29. It's Paul O'Neill who's off, and he was running in 7th place. So I don't know what happened there, but he's now off. So top three, no difference. It's still Jordan, and then Nash, and then Matt Neal in 3rd place. Neal carrying ballast in this race, remember, the maximum 45 kilos. Tom Chilton is in 4th place. Matt Jackson is in 5th place. Let's just see them through. Chilton and Jackson, and then it's Collard next, but no O'Neill, of course, because he's off down at the old hairpin, and that means that Onslow Cole is 7th, McDowell is 8th, Shedden is 9th, and Foster is up to 10th.
Yeah, you see what Matt Neal is, he knows that Plato's out, so that's one of his potential championship rivals. He's carrying maximum ballast, so he's just going to sit in 3rd place. He's not under any pressure, and he's going to let these two battle it out at the front. And if they either overwork their tyres or take each other off, he'll be the beneficiary. But whatever happens, he knows he'll pick up good points and look after the car, lose a bit of weight for the last race, and then try again. So Matt is already driving with championship in mind.
Lovely view from the onboard here as James Nash chases after Andrew Jordan.
Watch how much curb they take here, right across the inside.
Both using the Vauxhall Vectra, which is a well-known, trusted car, of course, of British touring cars, but both with the Swindon-tuned NGTC engine, so absolutely evenly matched, just run by two different teams. And Andrew Jordan tucks it into the first part of the chicane. He's won races in the past. James Nash is yet to win a race, or at least win a race and keep it. He has won a race on the road, but unfortunately got excluded for the victory. Jordan just holding the edge. Then it's Matt Neal in 3rd place. There's Tom Chilton in 4th. Matt Jackson getting quite close to the back of him.
Yeah, he is. This is another interesting battle between the new Ford Focus, the global Ford Focus being run by Team Aon, and the Motorbase Airwaves Racing older version, their last year's car actually, in the hands of Matt Jackson.
New fastest. Oh!
Will he hold it? Will he hold it?
Oh, Chilton, how did he hold that? Fantastic. But Jackson's got the momentum, and he's going to draw alongside him. Who's going to win the battle into McLean's? Chilton's on the inside. Oh, no! They've hit each other. Jackson spins across the front of Chilton. Oh, what a shame. And he goes straight into the gravel, loses loads of places. He may still be able to get back on.
Well, you saw two amazing pieces of car control there. Firstly by Chilton down at the old hairpin, and then by Jackson to keep that car going. But the lead is really close. Look at Nash, he's really putting a lot of pressure on here.
This is great stuff between two youngsters, two hungry young guns, and there's no love lost after a comment in the press that James Nash made that made it clear he felt that Andrew Jordan wasn't at his level. Well, let's just see what's going to happen here. There's honour at stake. They both want to win this race. They both want to be top Vauxhall, of course, to finish this race, and it could be quite a needle match in the remaining laps.
Yeah, no question. They're both going to keep on it, and here we've got
Jeff Smith just defending from Nick Foster. In fact, yeah, he's gained that place. That is into 9th. Foster, though, fighting back in the BMW on the inside. Two new guys to British touring cars, and they're doing well. So far, so good. Keep it sensible, guys. Oh, no! Contact, contact. Off goes Foster through the gravel. He's going to come back in front of everybody here. Oh, straight across in front of Gillam. Thankfully, there was no contact.
Well, I was really worried about that car rolling because it went through the gravel sideways, and that was so dangerous. I was talking in qualifying about when Matt Jackson went off. Now, this is Jackson trying to get past Chilton. We'll just get a replay here. He thinks he's got enough of an overlap. He's flouted, he moves across to defend the line, but he hasn't got quite in front of Tom Chilton, and then it's flat on the throttle again. Well, we've had so much incident this race.
It's incredible. Tony Gillam is part of that group now with Smith and Andy Neate as well, and Matt Jackson's at the back of that group recovering. That is Matt, who had the incident. We've just had the replay, and he's now joined the back of the group. Yellow flags down there, so somebody's off at the outside somewhere of the or is it into Redgate?
Must
safety
be
car, safety car, that's why. So we're all going to queue up behind the safety car once again.
Well, this is going to close everybody up again, isn't it? Especially at the front as well. So I'm assuming that's to move the stricken car of...
Mike Jordan talking to Andy over the radio. He's a busy guy today, Mike Jordan. He's on the radio for both his drivers because their race engineer Carl Foe had to go home. His child very unwell overnight, so certainly the team were thinking of him. They said, no, you must go. So Mike's taken on a bit of a double role on the radio. Look at this replay, Tim. Oh.
Well, I mean, you've got to remember that accident started at the top of the Craners and it didn't reduce the speed at all. Here we go, side by side. It's always a risk, always a risk. They come through, they get to the left-hand bit. They're both trying to give each other room, but just as the car's run, the slightest of touch, and away goes Foss. That was where I was worried the car might start rolling. It didn't, but look, spears across the track. And I mean, none of the other drivers would have known where that car was.
No. 120 mile an hour as they touch there.
And Jeff Smith at the bottom of the hill here, he doesn't know where the BMW is, so he comes through the corner, doesn't know, and he only just gets missed.
Well, thankfully, no contact was made there. Safety car still out. Let's see if we can have a quick word with James Nash. He's running in second place at the moment in that queue. James, this is Ben in the commentary box. You're having a good race at the moment. Do you think you can get past Andy Jordan?
Yeah, it's going all right. I think Matt's keeping up with us now, so we just lost the advantage that we did have. I was just trying to keep pressure on Jordan and make him hop over some curbs, see if I can get him to ruin his tyres. It hasn't worked so far, but another 5 laps to go.
How's your car feeling?
Yeah, it's fine. Just trying to stay off the curbs, which is costing me down the back straight. Other than that, it's stayed fairly consistent.
Great. Well, keep up the good work. It's certainly an entertaining race. So there's James.
Cheers.
Yeah, no need to really stay off the curbs at this stage. The tyres are up to pressure, and that's the key thing, getting up to pressure so the sidewall can withstand the impact of the curbs, but that clearly won't be an issue now, and he actually seems to be more worried about Matt than he is about Jordan. I would say, you know, experience would tell him that Matt isn't going to do anything silly and he should concentrate on trying to get past Jordan.
Yeah, that's right, yes. Matt Neal's thinking about his championship lead, which he took after the first race of the day here. Just to remind you, if you've joined us, Jason Plater having a dramatic rollover accident at the start of this race, but he is okay. But he is very much out of this race, and we're not sure whether his car will be rebuilt for race 3, but we're about to see this race get underway once more. Watch out for Tom Onslow Cole. He's now up to 6th place in that Golf. This is the best run we've ever seen from it. Now in its 2nd year in British touring cars. They're all bunched up, and this is going to be a 4-lap run to the end here to see who comes out on top. Parked a few cars out of the way, so they're not in a dangerous position behind the bridge. Here we go, race gets underway again, and Andy Jordan has the advantage in the Pertec Vauxhall, but James Nash is tucked in behind him. Matt Neal in 3rd place. Matt Neal not quite as quick at the restart as I thought he might be, so he's not able to challenge into Redgate corner. They're chased by Tom Chilton in 4th, Rob Collard in 5th, then it's Tom Onslow Cole in the Golf, but he's under pressure from Alex McDowell in the Chevrolet.
Yeah, it's going to be some good battles right to the end of them. We've got more side by side through the Craners. They've sorted themselves out now, fortunately.
Shedden gained one there. Shedden has got past McDowell, so Shedden coming from the back is now up to 7th place.
Yeah, this is fantastic drive. He's really picked his way through. He's only a few behind Matt Neal now, who started on the front.
Yeah, so Gordon Shedden has had a remarkable run, helped a little bit by some of the incident. Andy Neate just going up the inside of Liam Griffin there, and the rest of them coming through. A couple of cars running wide on the exit of McLean's, but so far so good. Tony Gillam still in that lead group. He's running in 9th place, I think, at the moment, but You've got the BMW of Collard, then the Golf. Look at the leaders, Andrew Jordan, James Nash. Nothing much to choose between them, but Nash not quite close enough, and there's Shedden getting past Onslow Cole. So he's now got past the Golf. That's another place gain. That's 6th position now for the Honda of Gordon Shedden, and he's fought his way. So if you say they've got 2 cars in the top 6 now.
Yeah, and I think he's probably got a good chance of maybe getting Collard as well, although we know how robustly Collard can defend if he needs to, and it comes down to the last lap.
That's for sure. But we're on board with Shedden here. This is the onboard view from the Honda of Gordon Shedden as he follows Rob Collard. Still got that rear bumper damage from the very start of the race, but it's not, I think, affecting the handling of the car. Through Old Hairpin, over that curve on the inside, run it out wide, but just about the right place. Past a couple of the stricken cars as they come up the hill. Not close enough to attack here.
No, not yet. He's just going to concentrate on a perfect lap and try and get on the back for the last couple of laps and put some pressure on. But great drive by Onslow Cole, really fantastic. We know that car's still a little bit underpowered, but he's driving the wheels off it.
He's ahead of Alex McDowell at the moment in the Chevrolet, and then behind them you've got Tony Gillam, Jeff Smith, Matt Jackson still trying to pick up some places. Matt Jackson actually, I think, will gain. Oh no, Smith goes off. That was contact with Jackson as they came down the straight. A bit of squeezing going on. Is he going to keep it out the barrier? Yes, he does, and he should be able to get back on as long as he doesn't hit the bumps too much. It's Andrew Jordan who continues to lead as we go on to lap 18 of 19. Nash in second, and now Chilton putting Matt Neal under pressure.
Chilton's found a bit of form at the end of this race. And look, Chilton's looking down the inside. I'm sure he's going to get Collard sooner or later before the end of this race.
He really had a little look down the inside there, didn't he? Let's take a look at Shedden as he's right up behind on that damaged rear bumper of Rob Collard. Look at the car sliding there. Wonderful picture. 120, 125 miles an hour as they go down through those Craner curves, and you can see just how much control Rob Collard had of the car at high speed. I talked to him after the first race, and he said he is absolutely on the limit in this car at the moment. He has a great handling car, but he doesn't have a turbo engine, of course. Up the hill comes the race leader, Andrew Jordan, up towards Coppice. Just enough of a gap. Chilton really putting Matt Neal under pressure. And look at Onslow Cole in the black and red Golf with Alex McDowell and Tony Gillam now ganging up on him. Can he hold on to this position, which would be the best ever position for the Golf in the British touring cars in modern times anyway? And Jordan still fending off Nash. Chilton follows through the chicane as they come around this time. We'll be going on to the final lap. Here we are then. The last bit is left, just under 2 miles. Is Andrew Jordan going to be able to hold on from James Nash? And what about behind them? Is there going to be any changing? Using a little bit of curve through Redgate Corner, accelerating hard out of here, through the gears. 4th, 5th, 6th gear, flat out through this left-hander where we've seen so much incident already today, down the hill towards the Old Hairpin. Matt Neal still under pressure from Tom Chilton there in the Aon Ford, and on for a decent result, but can he get a podium finish? That's the question. Behind him is still Rob Collard and then Gordon Shedden. Shedden hasn't found a way past that BMW as yet, and in fact over this last lap Shedden has just dropped back a little bit. It's Chilton who's the one putting the main attack on here for 3rd place. A little shift out of the mirrors there from James Nash, but it doesn't look as though he's going to rattle the cage of Andrew Jordan. Just the 1 corner to go in this 2nd race of the day. Andrew Jordan seems to have it as long as he gets the braking right down into the right left. These 2 youngsters have put on a tremendous show, Andrew Jordan and James Nash, but it is going to be Jordan who takes his 3rd ever British touring car win. Nash a fine 2nd, his second place of the year. Look at the background, because Tom Onslow Cole is going to get the Golf home in 7th place. That's a brilliant result, and Gillam got past McDowell just over the line there, and that was also a strong run. So the Triple Eight team, celebrations for 2nd, but Mike Jordan, look at the smile on Dad's face. He's talking to Andy over the radio, and what a brilliant result. This is their local track, and that was a beautifully driven encounter from the 2 guys up front. Both Jordan and Nash drove a beautiful race there, kept it under control. They raced each other hard and fair, and the gap in the end just 3/4 of a second between the 2 Vauxhalls. Matt Neal though held on to 3rd. He defended well from Tom Chilton, who really seemed to come on strong after that final safety car period. The Ford working very well in the closing stages there. Collard did a fine job to finish in 5th place, top of the normally aspirated cars, of course. Rob Collard in 5th position, and he fought off Shedden towards the end there, who had come all the way from the very, very back of the field. and Tom Onslow Cole with the best result for AMD Miltech to date in the British Touring Car Championship. A really superb result in the Golf, which is still being developed. 7th place for them, and Tony Gillam a fine 8th, McDowell in 9th, and Matt Jackson, who recovered after that contact with Chilton earlier on, to finish in 10th place. But my word, that was British Touring Cars at its most dramatic at various stages there, particularly of course at the very start, and the accident of Jason Plato coming from the back as he was. It's always tough to find your way through traffic, but contact in the end, sawing him roll over, but he's okay. The result, Andrew Jordan the winner, narrowly from James Nash. Matt Neal in 3rd, and good points for him. Tom Chilton in 4th, then Rob Collard. Gordon Shedden from the very back of the grid to 6th. Tom Onslow Cole in 7th, Gillam in 8th, ahead of McDowell and Matt Jackson, who recovered to finish 10th. Out of the points, Andy Neate and John George. Jeff Smith, who survived a rocky ride, he finished 13th. Chris James 14th, then Dave Newsham and Tony Hughes. Nick Foster was down in the end, something happened to him. Tom Boardman, he went out. Paul O'Neill, of course, he went out. Frank Rathel had problems with his car, unfortunately, and dramatically Jason Plato out on the first lap. Well, this is what it's done in terms of the points. Matt Neal is still the leader, but look at James Nash. My goodness, he's up to 2nd, only 2 points behind Matt Neal. Now, who would have thought that? But he is putting in a really consistent run of results at the moment. Matt Jackson's in 4th place. Look at Plato. He led after Brands, but he's dropping down a little bit here. And Andrew Jordan has moved up. He's up to 5th now, just 4 points behind Jackson. Chilton is staying pretty consistent. Shedden, important points for him. Paul O'Neill disappointed to go out of that one. We never quite saw what happened there. Collard finished in 9th in the points, and Alex McDowell currently holding 10th place. So really, really dramatic stuff here at Donington Park. But for Andrew Jordan, what an achievement to take the victory here. He's been a race winner at Croft. He's been a race winner at Brands Hatch, the final race of 2010. But he's now put in a very accomplished performance to take victory here today under constant pressure and dealing with a couple of safety car periods as well. Checking those tyres, they'll be looking at those tyres to see what good shape they are in. But Andy Jordan will be very, very happy about that, and the whole team, this family-based team, delighted. All local guys, fairly local to this Donington area, all from the Birmingham area. And there is Andy. Look at that. Great. Celebrating his first win of the season, and an important time to do it. And I reckon that he means the car was working beautifully there. He was able to control the pace throughout, and he had pressure on him from James Nash. And that's a really, really lovely result. And there's his dad coming over to give him a big hug as well. Good stuff. Time for him to get his crash helmet off, and let's get down there, and hopefully we can get some reaction with Simon.
Do you know what? I think you should be a NASCAR driver with your celebrations, and you want to see a backflip off the roof next time.
This is it. I was thinking if I won again, I could try and do a Carl Edwards backflip, but I've not had the opportunity to practice yet. So,
well, I'm sure if it carries on like this, you're going to get plenty more practice. What a tremendous race! I mean, talk us through that from the beginning. First of all, we chatted earlier, and you were saying you were a bit concerned about tyres later on. My goodness, that must have been a hell of a pressure for you.
Yeah, I had no chance whatsoever, apart from the safety car, to back down and back off and call them down at all. So I got the start, and James was nibbling in the back of me a little bit into turn 1, and I could see where he was strong. He was stronger through the chicane and coppice. Everywhere else I dropped him a little bit. But it was just pressure the whole way. No chance whatsoever to slow it down and just look after that front. But to be fair, we did some setup changes to look after the front tyres a little bit more, and they seem to have worked. But can't believe we just won another race.
Yeah, you did win it. It's not just imagining it.
That feels really good. All the guys did a superb effort. James, was clean. He could have had a few dirty lunges, but he didn't. And heart's beating a bit.
I can see. The boys were a bit concerned about the roof again. I could hear them saying, "Not the roof, not the roof."
Well, you'll see here, Croft last year I damaged it a little bit, and we got a dent man down, and Dad said, "Do not stand on that roof." And I said, "Sorry, but it's going to happen." And Jack over there, he said, "Do not get on that roof," but what the hell, life's too short.
That's the problem with you racing drivers, you're so selfish, aren't you? You go out, win a race, you expect to be able to do what you like.
Yeah, but she's done good so far, so we'll see what we can do in the next one, but great effort.
Tremendous job, absolutely superb, well done, and shows Vauxhall good. And get a chance to speak to this man, just congratulated Andrew Jordan. Well, it was looking quite likely at one point that you might have been getting that first victory. A tremendous performance by you, James. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, thank you. It's, the car feels good. Andrew's driving really well. I was trying to apply a bit of pressure over the curves and things like that, but he kept his line. He didn't lose any momentum, so can't really do much more. Just bringing home the points.
I guess it also kind of illustrates just what a tremendous job the guys that are doing the engines are doing for you guys, that you've got such a strong package of cars, 2 different teams, possibly a different approach to running the car, but we're a similar kind of level of performance.
Yeah, of course, there's always different driving styles, but yeah, the engines are always fantastic. Swindon do a good job there, and the Triple Eight, they're a fantastic team and they deserve to be at the front.
Now, obviously, we're used to British touring cars, and sometimes it gets a bit rough and tumble. There was a lot of chaos going on out there in various different things. But were you ever tempted to have a little lunge down the inside?
No, I hit Andrew on the first lap coming into the start. I was watching my mirrors with Matt just to make sure I could squeeze through. And when I looked up, Andrew was stopping. That was the only time, really, that there was any moment. It was just hassling him all the way, really, just to try and get somewhere.
Now, I'm guessing you're confident that there's enough in this car to maybe, if the reverse grid works for you, get yourself that elusive victory.
Yeah, there's always that opportunity. Never die out in touring cars. There's always an opportunity. So we just got to see how it lies and just keep pushing forward.
Good stuff. Well done, James. Fantastic job. Now, a man who's looking, as always, ever relaxed, Matt Neal. Was that what you kind of expected?
I was hoping we'd have a bit more pace. The weight really took its toll on us because we were light for the first race, and it really had an effect on the car. So I was flat chat. I got nothing left in that, and I was just glad to see the checkered flag because with Tom behind me.
Now, I mean, it was interesting because when we saw the race, we saw the safety cars, and thinking maybe this could change things a lot. Ben and Tim in the commentary saying, "Well, we're going to really see what Matt Neal's got with this car," and it didn't quite seem to. They seemed to edge away a little bit.
I think out of the three lead cars, James Nash had the quick car under him, and Andy was doing a great job up front, driving a clean line and everything. And I was trying to hang on to the pair of them, and I think the safety car helped me back up to them, but in the end it gave me another problem because it brought Chilton into the equation. So I had to sort of start watching him, and I thought, third place is a damn good day, and it's going to be the best weekend I've had so far this year. So I'll take that with both hands.
Now, I know very quickly that you know how to win British Touring Car Championships, and as much as you wouldn't wish ill on another competitor, Jason's obviously had a terrible weekend so far, and that's really helped your points.
Points aside, you just hope he's all right and everything's all right. It's you don't like to see anyone in a big accident, and he's obviously trying to push his way through and got into some sort of trouble. But I don't know. I saw it, the aftermath of it in the gravel, but I don't really know what happens. Just hope he's all right.
Yeah, he's okay. That's the most important thing. And thanks, Matt. Thanks for your time. Now we've got Louise Goodman, who's going to be talking to Mike Jordan.
Yeah, as always, we're going to be shuffling the pack for the final race of the day, and Mike Jordan's joining me to make that all-important draw. But before that, let's just have a chat about that race and your boy.
That was a cracking one, wasn't it? That we've done a lot of winter testing. We're obviously starting to reap the rewards, I think, of last year, where with the first ones with the NGTC engine, and we had a few problems along the way. This year, Swindon have done a fantastic job through the winter, and we've done a lot of testing, and it's starting to show. We didn't get the rub at Brands, but pace has been really good all the way through. We had a bit of a problem in qualifying yesterday. We had a damper go, which cost us a little bit, but no, I always knew we could start to turn this up performance on.
Well, as you say, you did have the problems at Brands, but despite that, I mean, the signs were there that the boy was going to be on pace this year.
Yeah, and he's so right in his head. He's I think he's gone. It's been a bit of an up and down in touring cars for Andy. He's still only 21. When we did our first year, he was great in his year with the Works Vauxhall. Probably he'd got too much expectation on himself, and he didn't really perform. And now we've got him right in his head, and he's doing a fantastic job. And I mean, today's an interesting one for us because Andy's race engineer Carl Foe, who's done a brilliant job all through the winter, because Andy's engineer from last year went to work in Aussie V8 Supercars, and he's actually my son-in-law to be, Adam is. So he's out there working for the Jack Daniels team. They had their first win with him as a race engineer on Rick Kelly's car this weekend. But unfortunately, Carl's got a 1-month-old baby that was rushed to an intensive care unit last night with a heart failure. So he actually turned up this morning, and I said, mate, you cannot be here, you need to go. I don't normally do any of the engineering now, I just team manage it. So I've sort of picked up his notes and gone from that. And bless him, after the first race, he phoned me from the intensive care unit with his baby just to discuss the setup changes for race 2. So, mate, we're thinking about you. That's for you.
Yeah, our thoughts are with him, and we hope all's well with his little baby as well. You were just during that interview, Andrew was saying that you've given him strict instructions not to bounce up and down on the top of the car to celebrate the victory. He did. Are you angry with him?
No, not really, but Nigel, our landlord, will. Nigel does some club racing with us as well, and we look after his car, and he looks after all the bodywork on our cars, and the hardest part to repair is getting the dents out of the roof, so he always tells me, don't let him get on the roof.
So how do you see things shaping up in the next race? I suppose it depends on where he's going to be starting from, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that was a big milestone for us, really, because obviously we had 2 wins last year, and they were off sort of reverse grid with no ballast on. So that was, it's all part of his learning curve still to be able to win from the front, look after the tyres with ballast on. So, okay, we'll have a bit more ballast on for this one, but we're trying to, he had a big monkey off his back last year with getting the first win. That he knows he can win in touring cars now. So we want to try and be at the end of the year challenging for the Independent Championship. So it's now about taking some points, and if we could get a few points in the last one, that would be a good day for us.
Okay, well, time now to find out where he's going to be starting. But just before you dip your hand in my fish bowler, let's just have a quick reminder of the guys that we need to be looking out for. And then that's the guys from 6 to 10. That's Gordon Shedden in P6, Tom Onslow-Cole P7, Tony Gillam in P8, Alex McDowell P9, and Matt Jackson in P10. Okay, go ahead, dip away. And it is, hold it up to the camera, that is number 9. So that is Alex McDowell. Alex McDowell will be starting the next race from pole position. And let's join Ben Edwards now to see how the rest of the grid lines up.
Thanks, Louise. Well, it's certainly a big number. So we've got a whole 9 from that race reverse. That means that McDowell will be on pole with Gillam alongside him, the rookie driver in British touring cars, one of the rookies this year. Onslow-Cole in the Golf will start 3rd, ahead of Shedden, who came from the back in that last race. It'll be Collard and Chilton behind them. That's how the 3rd row of the grid will look. And then, of course, Matt Neal, James Nash and Andrew Jordan, he has to start 9th, so he won't be thanking his dad for drawing 9. He'd be much happier with 6, but never mind. Matt Jackson will start with him. Andy Neate and John George will be on the 6th row of the grid. And then behind them we've got Jeff Smith and Chris James, Dave Newsham and Tony Hughes, then Nick Foster and Tom Boardman. And then, of course, at the back, we don't quite know whether we're going to be seeing Jason Plato back out. That will all depend on whether they can repair the car or not, and a couple of other cars that obviously failed to finish. So we are now turning our attention on to the next race on the schedule, which is the Porsche Carrera Cup. The cars already